Okay. Hey everybody, I'm Chris from It's Mead Made, and what I'm going to be doing is essentially gluing together Donnie from the Prey collection. This is from his Patreon, and I actually printed this on my Anycubic Photon resin printer. And this is just 1:1 scale from Prey collection, and I'm actually printing all of the turtles again because he was kind of my test, this Donnie. I'm printing them all again as big as I can physically get them on my Photon. So yeah, so I'm just going to go through and try to make sure everything sticks together well, and there'll be some cleanup that always happens with me, and I usually just take a razor blade, like an X-Acto knife, or I'll actually put some sandpaper to it, but we'll see. I kind of fit together one a little bit, and it got a little rough right here, but we can go ahead and get started. Alright, so got my razor blade, and when I'm gluing, I use Gorilla Glue Super Glue. I honestly just love this stuff, this specific stuff, because I can open it up and use it just like a regular super glue bottle, but the coolest part, in my opinion, is I can actually open it up another way, and it's got a brush, so I can actually brush it in if I'm trying to get it into a little crack or anything like that. So it works out pretty well, and it's pretty cheap. And the other thing I really like about this stuff is it doesn't dry out too quick, because I've had this probably 2 months, and I don't know if you can really see it, but it is almost out. So I got another kind that doesn't have a brush that I'm about to try after this, but I've been super happy with this. I've gone through dozens of bottles of it. Alright, so this is the base. I'm not really going to be gluing him to the base, because I'm just going to be gluing him all together by himself and paint him, and then I'm going to paint the base separately, and then I'm going to be putting him on. But you can kind of see he will fit in there pretty well. And the cool thing about this Donnie is he is actually in this super crouched position, so he's actually kind of goes like this and like that. Let me see if I can hold them together while showing you. So yeah, he's in a really cool position. So yeah, but then he has his arms out in like a ready to fight position, and then his other arm is in the back here holding his bow staff, which all the pieces are right here as well. So yeah, alright. So now I'm going to just start with the one arm here and see how that goes. And it's already, I didn't think it was going to fit very well, because sometimes the resin will kind of clump and you don't get it clean enough. So what I'll take is a razor blade and kind of just shave away some of the area. And one thing about these models is one thing Prey Collection does now with all of his models on Patreon is you can actually get them pre-supported for printing minis, which I think is really sweet. I actually printed a Mikey for my son because he likes painting things just like me. But I wish I could just hit print on those and make them as big as I can, but my printer really kind of just doesn't have a very big build plate. And I guess the other thing is I've got, these don't come hollow, so I actually have to hollow these out, because for those of you that resin print know, you never want to print something this big, just pure resin, because it wastes a ton of resin, and also the resin never really cures on the inside. And what I do is Autodesk has a 3D program for models for 3D printing. It's called Mesh Mixer, and I actually bring that into Mesh Mixer, and it's got a cool little feature where it can hollow stuff. And so what I do is I just bring in each part at a time. So all of these parts, I can see some holes. There's a hole here, holes here, because some of the holes you can get bigger, obviously. Like I actually couldn't get some bigger holes here because of how shallow this is, but I was able to hollow these out so I'm not wasting a ton of resin. So that looks pretty good. Still getting a little bit of sticking, so what I do is now you can kind of look. The nice thing about resin is it'll actually start to make marks where it's hitting, and I'll honestly just shave it away. And if it doesn't work for you, make it work. I don't know if my cleaning process isn't good enough, why this happens to me almost every single time, but every time I'm printing resin, and it is not due to Prey Collection models, it's due to me, I know, because I've printed a bunch of other resin prints from other people. There's a Mars Pro that I do a lot of his Rick and Morty stuff, like actually right here. I'm actually doing Mr. Meeseeks right now. His head didn't fit on too well, so I actually had to just shave it off completely. And then I put a bunch of putty around it, but it was a really fun print. Can't wait to finish him. Too many things to print, and too many things to paint, which I'm sure if you paint 3D models, you can understand that too. I guess the dad in me is going to say that be careful with knives, don't cut yourself, because I know every time I have my knives and my X-Acto knives doing this kind of stuff, my boys yell at me because I'm not being safe, because they are Boy Scouts and they tell me how I should be handling a knife and always cut away. But yet again, here I am showing everybody to cut towards you. It just works better sometimes. And that is starting to fit perfectly. Alright. Oh, hold on 1 second. Okay. Sorry about that. I guess important thing to do when you're about to stream is make sure your laptop is fully charged. Because mine was not, and I had to run and go get my power cable. Okay. So now that is fitting really good with very little creasing. So I'm going to call that one good. move this guy over and call that one done. Now the next one where he's holding his arm up. Okay. This one actually looks pretty good. It's got a little bit on the bottom here. So I want to get a stable position before I start hacking away. Nice thing about resin is it cuts away a lot easier than filament on an FDM printer. Alright. It's looking pretty solid too. See that. See a little bit of a line, but it's not that bad, I think. So we'll call that done. Another thing I use, let's see if it's up here. Whenever I have big gaps, I'll actually throw this in, plastic putty. Vallejo makes it. It's actually really good. It's just like a liquid plastic putty, hence the name, plastic putty. But you just kind of squeeze it in, and you can wipe it in the cracks and fill in stuff. It's actually really great. But yeah, I really like that stuff. Okay. So, next are these guys, and I doubt I'm going to have very much with these guys. These legs. Yeah, they fit pretty well. Not see any issues there on that guy. You can be done. This is the harder one because it's honestly kind of hard to tell how he fits. I think it's like that. But I think when his leg will be the last one to make sure, because I'll use the base to make sure I get his leg in the right position, so when he's down here, actually on, then I can actually glue that one. Because there's a lot of wiggle room here, so I'm gonna just make sure that I've actually got the right positioning. But now I've got those appendages processed and shaved down to fit perfectly, and now we've got his belts and stuff, which these are the ones I think I'm gonna have to do the most work on. You can see there's some gaps and stuff, and we definitely don't want that. It looks like that lip is causing the issue. So I'm going to just go ahead and start shaving away. So I always just start on the edges and just start shaving down a little bit, just because those are the points where they really kind of always stick, and especially like trying to round off some of the edges. because just chip away some a little bit. Because I've always found when dealing with resin prints, down here in the corners, you'll get some globbing, and if you don't clean it good enough, when you cure your resin, it'll actually stick, and that means you've got points that won't let it connect very well. So there's that, and that's actually already 10 times better, but it looks like now, with the beauty of resin, there's a little spot right there I can see, because it'll actually mark itself. So you'll actually, when you're forcing a piece in a little bit, you know, you want to be careful, because resin can break easy, because I have learned that lesson. And I've honestly broken a few like smaller pieces before by just carving it away a little too hard. And there we go. That looks pretty good. Because I don't want it to be, I don't think it's supposed to be super flush, because it is a satchel. And this will just look like it's attached at the belt. So that's perfect. Let's see that. Okay. That's done. Now this one. This one's the bigger one, it looks. And then these two go over here. So let me just see. I'll just give a good amount of pressure and kind of wiggle it back and forth, and then start to get a little bit of white marking right there. I don't know if you can see it. And now I know where I gotta hit, so just gonna carve it away a bit. And I got a little bit of white marking on this side too. So try not to slice my finger off, because that would hurt quite a bit. It'd probably make good entertainment though. So here we go. Put it back in, and that looks great. That's a good fit. Okay. Last satchel. And it looks like it's the same problem right on those corners. I must have not cleaned this model very well, but I'll just take care of these pegs instead of having to deal with those holes. And I'm basically just rounding off those edges and shaving back a little bit where I think it's probably pinching. Because on the smaller pieces you don't always see those white marks where your pressure's being put, pinched or scraped on resin, because resin scratch is really easy. Okay. So not quite there, but it looks like my pinching point is right on this one. Let's see where it's at. Okay. Starting to get quite a bit of little resin flakes on there. Alright, so push that back in, and that is perfect also. Alright. Well, I see I got somebody online here. Awesome. I'm just terrible at this. I'm trying to still figure this out. Okay, so there we go. And these really shouldn't be a problem because the way I printed them. Instead, I actually printed them on my bed like this, so those shapes that line up weren't affected in any way. And it looks like they fit perfect, but I'm definitely not wanting to glue these yet. I will actually leave these off fit good. Hey! Mad Max. Awesome. You inspired me. So, got that. I'm ready for gluing. I honestly cannot wait to start painting this guy. Because of just seeing you paint Max. Of how you're doing Donnie. I think it's awesome that you're doing the one I want to do. I definitely want to go a little more cartoony with him. But I definitely want to use a lot of the same techniques because I'm kind of curious. I haven't used some of the stuff that you're using. So, here we go. So I'm going to use my favorite super glue just because I've got a nozzle on one end. It's got a dual cap, and you can also use a brush, so you can really focus where you want it to go. So get it there and just touch a little on the edges. And here we go, let's see. I always like to give a good firm pressure and just hold it for like 30 seconds. Alright. Look at that. We got an arm to Donnie. Okay. I'll tell you what, if you guys like Ninja Turtles as much as I do, Prey Collection, he does some amazing stuff. This month is Baxter and Krang, and honestly I cannot wait to print both of them. I think I'll probably even print Baxter before I print Shredder because Baxter is one of my favorite turtle bad guys. Okay, so I think that's pretty good. It's a great thing about super glue, it doesn't take very long. Okay, now the other arm. Just open it up here. Get it good there. Okay, here we go. Okay. Oh man, Baxter with transparent wings would be freaking sweet. I actually have a tiny bit of clear resin that I probably could do it with. And the cool thing about clear resin, that if you actually over cure it, so this one's about, the resin I have, it takes about 6 seconds of exposure to cure it on the photon, but if you do it at 8 seconds, it gives like a brownish transparency because it's overcooked. That would be a sweet effect, like you're kind of screwing it up on purpose to get that right color. That's actually an amazing idea. I might try both ways, just to use up some of that clear resin I have. I have just a tiny bit in a bottle. Okay. Yeah, this arm doesn't fit as well. I'm definitely going to have to putty that a little bit, and absolutely underneath his arm there's a pretty big crack. But that'll be alright. I know I can fix it with this plastic putty. Okay. So now we have Donnie ready, halfway ready for battle. So, the legs are honestly my biggest concern. Oh, overexposing. I did not know that, because when I have printed with that clear resin, and because I experienced that in the very beginning with overexposing it, and it was not on purpose, and I didn't lose any detail whatsoever. Maybe it was just luck. But I honestly FDM print more than I resin print. I still have some things to learn about it, that's for sure. But I feel like the failures I do have with it are all because I wasn't paying attention to something. Okay. And that's why I like this brush. I can really focus where I want it to go. Yeah, maybe I didn't notice. I don't know. I'll have to... Because I reprinted them. I actually printed some stuff for my game that I play with my boys called Gloomhaven. And there were some skeletons, and I painted some of them, and they looked great. Oh, slippage. I'm hoping I got this in the right spot. That's the only thing with some of his models. He has flat sockets and there's a big area, and I'm always scared of which way they actually fit. Yup, that's right. My downstairs is where my paint room and printer room is, and it's just right across the hall from the laundry room. You can definitely hear it going off. Time to switch over towels. Alright, excellent. Oh man, I'm getting goosebumps seeing this. This is awesome. It's always awesome seeing a model come to life. Okay. Looks like he's gonna go perfect right there. Just a test. Yep. Alright. Well, so here we go. Yeah, I'm printing the Leo that you're painting right now, Max, and it is the tallest thing I've ever printed in my photon printer, because when I was done, it was with one of the arms, when the swords of how I had to position it to make it fit. It was literally still in the resin when it was done. I mean, I had very little room left. It's almost done. Almost didn't print it. It was almost too tall. Yeah, are we there? Okay. Oh man, he fits perfect. This is gonna be a fun print, or paint. I got a little bit of gapping right there, and I'll probably fill in with some putty. But other than that, he's looking great. Alright. I think I'm actually going to leave this off so I can get this skin tone first. Where does the skin go? Back here. Okay. Oh, okay. I didn't know that. I'm honestly just trying to glue this guy together. So I take it that's a bad thing. Okay. Okay. And last one. And then all done. Well, looks like I've got some stuff to learn about Twitch. Instagram, I know. Alright. There he is. Oh my god, he looks fantastic. Cannot wait to paint this guy. Alright. Well, I'm going to leave these off and these off. And this off right here. I'll probably get his green skin tone first and then prime this and add that. So there he is. Alright, well thanks a lot, man. I'm going to end this because I just wanted to process him a little bit and get him glued together. And that's it. Well, have a good one, man. Thanks for joining me.